For centuries, Christian theology has wrestled with a tension between two massive concepts: God's absolute control over the universe and the reality of human free will. If God decrees every event and predestines every outcome, our daily decisions begin to look like an illusion. But if the human will is entirely autonomous, the creator of the universe is reduced to an observer, reacting to the decisions of his own creation. This tension breeds a dangerous assumption. If your ultimate salvation is guaranteed by divine election, why try? It sounds like a license to live with moral apathy. In the 1860s, the English preacher Charles Spurgeon faced this debate head-on. He looked at both extremes, and he flatly refused to pick a side. Spurgeon argued that Scripture reveals two distinct truths. He called them two parallel lines: divine sovereignty on one side and human responsibility on the other. These are the dual forces that power a life of active, practical holiness. Look at the first line: sovereign election. Spurgeon points out that God chose to save rebellious humans, but passed over the majestic angels who fell. He owes salvation to no one. A common way people try to explain this is through foreseen faith, the theory that God looks into the future, sees who will make the right choice, and then chooses them based on that future action. To see the flaw, consider this flowchart. If a prince gives gold to a beggar, he didn't do it because he foresaw the beggar having it. Unmerited grace is the cause, and the human reaction is the effect. When the cause of salvation rests entirely outside of human merit, it annihilates pride. You cannot boast about a gift you did nothing to trigger. Now follow the second parallel line. The invitation to accept this grace is thrown wide open to absolutely everyone. There is no hidden fine print. Anyone who wills to come may come, without limitation. God never forces a person to sin, and he does not coerce anyone into rejecting the truth. The barrier to this invitation isn't physical. A person's inability to come to God is rooted entirely in a hostile human will. They reject the invitation because they want to. This is how the two lines coexist. A person only yields to that open invitation because grace provides a new nature, effectively making the will willing. If a person uses their free will to walk away, God is completely just in letting them go. But when he intervenes to change a hostile heart, it is an act of pure mercy. We arrive back at the central accusation. If this outcome is guaranteed, doesn't it breed moral laziness and sin? Spurgeon countered this with a simple question. If a man is chosen to be a king, he doesn't logically decide to live as a beggar and wear rags. Receiving a high, completely unearned dignity creates an intense internal drive. You want to live up to the standard of the one who honored you. Grace does not lower the bar for human behavior. It elevates the desire to match that divine calling. It goes deeper than psychological motivation. To Spurgeon, election is about the creation of a new nature. You cannot simply train a raven to act like a dove. The animal has to be remade from the inside out. Just as a lion turned into a lamb would naturally abhor violence, a person with a renewed nature genuinely hates the sin they once loved. History proves the results of this change. Look at the fierce cavalry of Oliver Cromwell's Ironsides in the 17th century. Their deep belief in God's ultimate sovereignty produced unmatched courage. Because they bowed completely to a divine king, they refused to bend the knee to any earthly tyrant. This demanding, rigorous theology drew massive crowds. They weren't looking for an easy pass. They were drawn to a truth with teeth. This doctrine removes the burden of earning a seat at the table. It frees a person from that weight, replacing fear with the kind of gratitude that changes every detail of how they live.